Dick Grayson earns the name Dick in more than one way. The nuclear family actually goes nuclear, and I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And much, much more on today's AfterBuzz DC Titans After Show, Season 1, Episode 5, Together.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I felt like this was the most appropriate song because I'm hoping that the Titans stay together forever.
Rick Astley, man, that's what's up.
That's how it goes.
I appreciate you, man. It ain't a while.
We're Rick-rolling our own show. As we roll in, I am your host. My name is Tehran. To the left of me, I have the amazing, wonderful, Titanic panel, Chaucey.
Hey y'all, it's Chaucey Robinson.
And then my man Evan Mack is in the
What's
building.
going on, guys? Evan T. Mack, how you guys doing? Good to see you guys, man.
Looking like the Mack.
I appreciate you, man. You know, you gotta stay true to your name every now and again, man. I am offended you're not wearing a robe, though. I was getting used to it.
I know. No robe today, but I will tell you this, what we do have today. Today, I'm actually starting the show off with a disclaimer, and I want everyone at home to understand. Because as they watch the show, as we've been going through the comments, we realize a lot of people have a lot of things to say, and we appreciate each and every one of you that does comment. I do want everyone to remember and remind you that you can like something and say love something and still want it to be better. And that's all we do on the show. So when we have a comment, it's not a criticism, it's a critique. And that's what we do on this after show. So if you also have a critique, please feel free to critique down below. We love to hear from you.
Damn.
But just want everyone to know we can like something and still want it to be better. I might like my grandma's cooking and might still add some salt, and it doesn't take away
hell
from
no.
grandma's cooking.
You can't put salt in the grandma's cooking to Ron.
Depends on what it is. Depends on what it is.
Can't believe he just said that.
So question to both of you.
What's up, brother?
Starting with Chauncey. Your overall thoughts on this episode 5 together.
I really liked it. I thought it was action-packed, and it was nice that the team finally came together.
Yeah. I agree. It was cool. Like that one shot they do when towards the end, you know, when like it's like that Teen Titan shot, you know, where it's like the Titan shot where it's like they're all together, like guards the Tigers like on top of the car. That perfect crop shot of them.
The
as
hero
a team.
format.
Oh God, I love that so much.
It's interesting. I feel like both of you are actually underplaying and underselling this episode. This episode was finally the show that we've been asking for.
It was great though.
And I've gotten that in episode 2, the one with Hawk and Dove. I felt like that was a great episode. And now coming into this episode, also a great episode. This is what I mean when I say we can critique something and still love it. I love this show, and this is why. And every episode can honestly be as good as this one. It was action-packed. It pushed the narrative forward. We got to know a little about each character. We felt a camaraderie. And for people who say, well, the other episodes were build-ups, no. This episode was actually better written.
I loved it.
And better shot than the other episodes. The only other episode where I got such a great feel was with Hawk and Dove. And that was a great episode as well.
Yeah, 5 was great, man. They brought in, goodness, like it had so many layers.
It had every single point that we brought up against last episode.
True.
Was made up for in this episode. But my only concern is, why not do this each and every episode?
Interesting.
Why not? And now, we can't do everything we did in this episode. So we are going to go over and discuss the power display. We're going to talk about the alliance, the nuclear family. Of course, there were 2 big reveals, Dick and Korey and Dr. Adamson and the tower. We're going to talk about Jason Todd, the other Robin. And there are a couple tidbits that we have to throw in between. We do have news and gossip with Chauncey and a special segment, of course, which we all love to participate in, where you think of a scene in the show and decide which one actually narrates you as a character the best. Now, let's start with power display. When I say power display, I mean the scene, obviously, where each character displayed their power for the other character, except for Robin, of course.
Yeah. And I just thought it was really cool that they kind of were put like this. I like the way Robin responded. Like, I think that was a good choice by the director and the actor, that he was actually genuinely impressed. He wasn't like stoic like Batman. Kind of like, okay, yeah, that's great. He was scared when he seen the tiger. When he really seen Starfire do her thing, he was genuinely like, damn.
Well, these things are impressive. I would feel.
He's impressed. You know what I mean? I think they could have just. I'm just glad they took that route because I could have seen them doing the route where it's like, where Robin's like Batman, but like impressed, but like internalizing his impressed nature. But I just love that he was like, whoa, okay. All right, girl. Like, all right, bro. Like, you good. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Chauncey looks unimpressed. Chauncey.
I thought it was good. I mean, it was one of those things where I actually wasn't impressed necessarily with Robin towards the end when he just like was still trying to hold the secret of being Robin. And it was kind of like everyone just showed you their thing, and it's like, I keep you guys alive. But that's like, could you not?
Oh, I love that he did that though.
I love that he did that too.
I like that he was just like, I'm Robin, girl. What you talking about?
No, but he didn't say it. He didn't tell them.
He was trying to distance himself from Robin, and we see that later on. We're going to discuss. But his power is actually the most impressive because, and this is how I feel about Batman as well. They have no superpowers. Mm-hmm. Batman's only superpower is that he's rich.
And
Robin,
smart.
And smart as hell.
All that stuff comes along with being rich. Like, he had the best tutors. He had Alfred. I mean, it's not like Stephen Hawking was out there saving people's lives.
Batman's smart as hell, man.
Okay?
It's
not
very
like
calculated.
Einstein was going out there just fighting crime. This is Batman.
I think he's the greatest comic character
with that money. I love Batman so much. The character that was built in. And we see that, of course, a little bit is the trickle-down effect into Robin. So you, Chauncey, did not like the Robin
like his rebuttal. He's like, I'm not.
I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was typical. That was the whole thing. Because they're still doing this whole brooding, I have walls up against my heart sort of deal that, and they showed a little bit more of that in the episode. I was actually really impressed with Starfire because just in her display, because, she admitted the fact that even though, like, how her powers are only, like, good during the daytime and how there's a problem at nighttime, and that played in later. But I thought it was, and I just loved how giddy she was around everyone. It showed this kind of a little bit more of a, I don't want to say vulnerable side, but this softer side of who she is.
The choices she makes as an actress.
Yeah.
I just think she got the character, the way she interprets this character, she makes it her own, and I just like that. It's her Starfire. You know what I mean? It's not like every Starfire everyone's expected her to be this way from this comic and this cartoon and this show. Like it's hers, and I just like the way she displays that in each episode. Each as she's growing, I really think she impresses, and she impresses me every episode. In different ways.
She's so dynamic in like every scene.
That's
when she's in there.
My opinion.
If you could just expound on the concept of her being giddy, Chauncey, because I don't know what you were speaking on particularly.
Okay.
Just like with Gar, like when he changes into the tiger, and she's like, it's like, this is cool.
It was impressive.
Or when Robin was like, show me, it's better with your clothes on. She's like, I've heard that before.
It's
just very much like her just having kind of these one-liners and just, I don't want to say party girl necessarily, but there's tropes when it comes to like the badass female where she can be more stoic than usual. It's like, I'm so cool, but I'm the one who has trust issues and I can't make a joke. And her thing, what they've done with her is made it so she's the badass one, but she can actually be more of the party girl. Because there's tropes when it comes to TV
because
shows.
she brings levity to a lot of situations.
Because
Robin's serious as hell.
Exactly. And it's like sometimes when you have the badass female, she's usually the one that doesn't make jokes, and the girl who does make jokes is the one who's like the weakest link, but she has the heart.
I know.
And in this sense, Starfire has heart. Like we saw that throughout this whole episode of her, how she was talking and treating people, but she was also still the badass female. So she subverts this trope, and I just think that's a great direction they've taken with her character.
And if I understand it correctly, Chauncey, you're still unimpressed with Robin?
I'm not unimpressed with. I mean, I've liked him since the pilot for the most part, but I do think that he descends into the brooding I, have issues and I can't have anyone close to me thing. And he wallows in that sometimes. Mm-hmm. And there were moments in this episode where he wallowed in it, but he couldn't for too long. But and it gets one note after a bit.
Do you think they really are trying to drive that point home just to make you long and want for him to break out of it? You know what I mean? Do you think they're focusing on that so much that when he gets to that moment where he does open up and he does become Nightwing and he does get past, do you think that's just like his arc? You think they just really want you to see that arc's like really badly, or do you think is it wearing you out?
No, I think they're totally centering that arc. I just don't think it needs to be centered.
Okay.
It's a thing that many storytellers' narratives, I think, fall into when it comes to centering the brooding man in these shows. It's like everyone else is super impressive, and we're going to have to wait till like half of the end of the season to find out about Starfire, and we're still on Dick's story.
But I think that the point of view is a narrative of Dick Grayson. So every show is going to take a character that takes the forefront. So, for example, if we were watching Law and Order SVU, it would be Benson, right? That would be the person whose every storyline kind of revolves around her. However, we do know that the other characters exist, and sometimes we follow them around as well. Dick Grayson seems to be the primary in this situation.
Yeah.
And this is the episode that I actually found myself liking Dick Grayson the most.
Fine, yes, it's happened.
The most. Now, I loved Starfire's performance in this. Her aptitude, and as you explained it, Chauncey, as giddiness, as Evan explained, her dynamic and character. Awesome. And I also did not see the perspective that you put forth, which is that usually it's the character, the female strong character, isn't also the comedic relief. But in this case, they broke the mold and are creating both in one.
Yeah.
Which is very strong. And also probably the most likely. So maybe that's why she resonates, because she sits really well with us.
Yeah.
But what resonates with everyone at AfterBuzz.
Oh yeah, appreciate you. AfterBuzz is our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that is tailor-made for you and help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, Tehran, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air, like my man Joshua Herrera. Wifey's in the chat. What up, wife? And for now, thanks for being the biggest fans and helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Love it. And love the Joker pins that you're rocking right now.
Appreciate it, man. LA Comic-Con, man. Those Artist Alley, like the people that go into Artist Alley, you ever been there? They make the most unique stuff, man. They really do. Shout out to LA Comic-Con, man.
Stan Lee's Comic-Con, as it used to be.
Yeah, I know. Don't breaking my heart, man.
It is.
God rest his soul.
You know, we're talking to you, but everyone respected that man. That man was a legend. Of course, we wouldn't be a show.
He actually made a cameo on Teen Titans Go movie.
That's right.
It was Stan Lee's one cameo was on Teen Titans for DC.
And if I get 95
fact.
years, bro, I'm doing all right. Man. Like, seriously, 95 years, man, you can't ask for too much.
It is. We can, of course, all respect and love the memory of Stan Lee.
Yes, sir.
Who is a pioneer in comics and basically all of our childhoods.
So true.
And grown-up hoods right now,
So
because that's all we're watching is comic book movies. Now, when it comes to the concept of bringing people together, the alliance, as they call it, because there was an uneasiness and Corey's the one who brings it up, says, well, what do you think this is? Why do we need each other? Evan, how do you feel about this alliance? Is this a strong alliance? Is it one made out of necessity or want?
Right now it's survival, and of course when you see it coming from Robin's finally coming to that realization. Okay, you know what? Okay, people are trying to kill Raven. I don't know why, but at the same time now they're trying to harm me as well. They harmed someone that was close to me. Okay, so now this is becoming a thing for me. So now, the Robin in me, the Batman in me wants to figure out what's going on right now. So I think it's just like you're saying. I think it's out of necessity at the moment. It's not. They don't have the family bond yet. Gar and Rachel, they're getting pretty close, and then you see, a couple things happen, with Dick Grayson and Corey. But I think it's becoming a family thing. But right now, necessity, man, survival at the moment.
Chauncey?
What do you think, Chauncey?
I think Raven wants to have a family.
Oh, God,
I think she definitely wants to, draw them all together, because there's some, she loves Starfire, she loves Gar, she loves Ron, she loves all these people. We've seen through her interactions with each of them that there's more of a, personal thing with that. And I think she's kind of found her tribe. I feel like she feels with them. But I do think, I agree. I think a lot of it is right now, especially for Robin, necessity of let's figure this out.
Yeah, and to your point, I think you make because even in the episode that if you got anything for episode 4, it's like she was even settling in with the Doom Patrol. At the dinner table, she was even had that look like this is okay. This could be okay
because she's
searching
longing for a family.
She's still clingy.
But for Corey or for Gar or for Dick Grayson. So we've decided for Rachel it's a want. Yeah. For the other three, necessity.
And it's interesting. Gar, I think, because I know he likes Rachel a lot. I think he likes he's liking this. Put like this, let's change of pace, because he has been cooped up in that area. That's why he goes out and does his thing and gets into stuff, because I think the cabin fever is a real thing. You know what I mean? So I think he's like in this adventure right now. I think he likes, especially when he found out who Dick Grayson was. And you can, and it's, you seen the level of respect, and you could see like young Gar was like, yeah, that's the Robin. You know what I mean? So it was one of those moments where he's like, okay, now I'm in a good spot right now. So I know for him, I think he's just happy to be along for the ride. And I think he's happy to be with Rachel and happy to be in the situation.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe too. Like in the hotel suite when they were eating pizza. Like someone's after. He's like, what? Someone's after us. Like I know he did not know that up to this point. Like, why have you been traveling with these people?
He's just been chilling.
If you didn't know there was a mission going on, so you just know he's there because like, hey, you guys seem cool.
That's
you know,
so true.
like that's exactly why he was there.
I feel the Rachel storyline that you two presented, I can definitely be on board with. With Gar, I feel
What do you think about Gar?
I feel like possibly this gives him purpose, and he's never had purpose. He's had power, but no purpose.
Yeah, you're right, because he he plays video games, he goes out, does like little petty theft, and you're right about that. Maybe this is, you know what I mean, he might be finding his purpose. That's a good assessment.
How are we looking at when it comes to Dick Grayson and Korey? Are they on board because they want it, or are they on board because they need it?
Korey, she feels she has to protect Raven, but she wants to know who she is, though. That's like her biggest motivation factor right now. Plus she's cool, man. She's like, loneliness is a real thing as well. And I think she was lonely, not being able to, when you're figuring out things by yourself is cool, but it's nice to have someone around while you're trying to find yourself and find what's going on. And plus she said she feels this need to protect Raven.
You're such a relationship guy.
And then, man, listen, man.
Good for you.
I got married a long time ago with my high school sweetheart, man. There's a lot of deep stuff going on here. So I see it. I see the love going on right now, man. Where I'm just getting soft in my old age.
Chaucey, are you a loner or are you on board?
Because we still haven't figured out who hurt you, Chauncey. We have not figured it out.
No one's hurt me. I'm the herder. No. I definitely think with her, she definitely wants to have a connection to people because we've seen that in some of her conversations, and we saw in one of the pivotal conversations in this particular episode with Guarded Guy, the whole thing about togetherness, and I think that's definitely a thing for her. And she feels, like you're saying, like she feels this connection. Rachel, she feels this connection of these people can help me, but I also can help them, and she gets some sense of because if you have an amnesia or something, you're going to feel lost, and to be able to kind of attach yourself to people who you can, be around.
Especially because it's a good vibe for them, She was talking about how, she doesn't feel like her, they always emphasize how much Rachel's a child, even though they see her go to work and there's some darkness inside her. They still feel like this feeling to protect her, like she's our kid. So it's one of those things that even with her, they don't fully understand her ability. It's one of those things where they still want to mother her and father her. So it's like I said, the family, it's starting to get
so
there.
even Dick Grayson, the brooding,
he's getting
guarded
there.
Guy.
He's getting, this episode made me like, oh man, he's really like that part where he's like, I promise, when he said he'll come back. It's like the way Rachel believed him that time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I believed him this time.
Bro,
I was like, oh, okay.
He's like, I promise. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we have this alliance of sorts. Now it's becoming to shift from necessity to change. And we also got a display of these powers. When it comes to these powers, we did learn from Starfire at this point, we learned that her powers are sun driven. They are solar powered. So she loses some effectiveness at night, which we also saw in the fight scene. We learned that Gar, which we knew could only be a tiger, but he's kind of goofy about it.
Yeah.
And he's silly about it. We learned that Rachel can definitely not control her powers, and she's actually very much afraid. I also think we learned from everyone's reaction, they realized that she not only has the most uncontrollable power, but the most powerful power.
Absolutely, because even Starfire was taken aback when that cloud of blackness came out of her.
Because she felt it, and Rachel did not.
Yeah, Starfire was like, "Oh, let me okay." This they all know Rachel is the most dangerous.
Rachel's something.
She's something.
She's something. Now we also do get a Robin reveal. With the Robin reveal, which is when he finally displays he shows them his. How did you feel about the way it was revealed that he was Robin to the team?
I liked it. I mean, I thought it was fine. He kind of had to at that point, I guess, reveal himself because he had to, fight the nuclear family. It was cool that there was some fangirling going on. It was all right. It was fine.
Listen, he literally got in his bag, man, to become Robin,
Yeah.
man. That's all I got no objectivity with this dude from Australia, man. When he dropped down through the smoke bomb, I was like, man, they showed that they panned up. I was like, that's Dick Grayson, that's my man right there. And man, that was my part, man. I was like, I need Robin to do that more, man.
You two are so calm about this. Even
I'm trying to be
with his excitement. I was so excited the way he displayed his Robinness because then, look, before he was defensive, Dick Grayson.
Yeah, he was.
But Robin just boom, right to it, just speared someone right back.
Man.
And the level of respect that came from Gar.
My favorite part.
That level of respect is like, whoa, you're Rob. All of a sudden, he went from being the least important person, like they were like, oh, he's just a good cop, to you are the most powerful person on this team.
I'm glad you said it. That was my favorite part of the whole show. Like all 5 episodes, that moment. Because that's that Batman street cred though, but that's also his reputation preceded him, and that's when they were like, yo, that's Robin.
That's Robin.
I know who you've dealt with throughout Gotham. I know your exploits.
100%.
And they were like, damn.
I thought it was solid. I mean, it's just that we've been seeing him fight since the beginning.
Watching it from the eyes of the
team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. I mean, it's cool. It's one of those things with narrative where they needed someone to, I mean, you need that character to kind of speak for the audience, right? It's like, oh my gosh, that's Robin. So it makes us at home be like, yeah, that is Robin. But it's like, yeah, that's Robin.
I will not let you take this away from me,
She's watering down that
I will
moment.
not let you take this away from me.
Personally, I think, honestly, like with I was really impressed before he put on his suit, and also with Starfire too.
Episode 1 especially.
Well, actually, in this episode, like the hand-to-hand combat and stuff with the nuclear family when they were attacking them in the hotel, like Starfire held her. She was, I mean, and there was a thing about her like having less power when she had to do the sun thing, but even with like fighting, she was kicking butt, and and Dick was doing the same thing. But I thought she was super impressive.
She was extremely impressive, but we can be impressed by both simultaneously.
We can, but
I think like them.
I think there was this. Oh my gosh, right? And I actually kind of like the fact that Starfire probably had no idea who he was. It was just like because she's not from this earth,
right? Yeah.
So she was probably like, yeah, okay.
That's what I.
And I was like, good.
But
she was like, you're into cosplay? Okay.
No, really.
I keep my boots on anyway.
That's what I loved about Gar. Gar was looking. It was like he was even younger when he said you're the Robin. It's like young Gar was like, yo, you need to understand something here.
I did.
That's that dude, man.
I did enjoy it because the Robin dynamic is so huge. Now, Chauncey, you touched on the fact of the nuclear family being the antagonist in this episode, as we saw most of the fight scenes obviously revolved around them. Let's talk a little bit about this nuclear family. We see a new father joining the team and learn that they are people who are basically brainwashed.
Which is sad to figure out, especially given that little device that their boss had. And just knowing that they're not, they're real people that were somehow, we don't know how they've been taken and things of that nature, but just to realize that they probably have backstories.
And it's a perfectly expendable character. If you really think about it, it's perfect. You can grab another family and do the same thing, and like it's untraceable basically. You had that fail safe in their brain. It's like it's very clever if you really think about like.
But yeah,
go ahead, Tom.
But they're human.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit sad.
It is sad.
I was just like,
but we don't know.
Real people.
We don't know how it comes to be. So they could be Jason Bourne in, where they've chosen on their own, whether through manipulation or not. But they feel like they are giving themselves to this, not realizing the extent, obviously, because I don't think anyone would volunteer to have their head blown off. But I also wonder about the concoction that they injected. Is it some type of pain killing? Because they didn't really seem to feel pain at certain points. They seemed to show minimal signs of fear, even when their explosive devices were enacted. They a little tear puddle in mother.
So nap time, kids. You know what I mean? Like she knows it's a wrap, but not any real like fear or emotion. You know what I mean? Like knowing that you're about to die. You're right. I think that cocktail does a whole bunch of things, like kind of indestructible, like strength. I think, but you're right. It doesn't show. It shows different things as far as like their like lack of emotion, lack of empathy. Pretty much like literally even when they were tied up, like give us the girl. Still was like on that mode. That thing is like you're right. I think it's a very sad thing. You know what I mean? If you really think about it.
Well, let's get into some I hate using this pun, meat of the show. Let's talk about Dick Grayson and Korey getting it in. Because that's its own separate entity.
Yeah.
I thought it was Chauncey. Take it away.
I really enjoyed it.
Did you? Finally, you enjoyed something. Oh, okay.
I
Chauncey.
enjoyed aspects of the episode up to that point as well. I liked her little talk with the woman in the liquor store. I thought that was. I like when they meet like these different characters, like the thirsty hotel owner.
She was thirsty.
Yeah, like
she was.
Also the liquor store woman, and I thought there were. I mean, I feel like Starfire genuinely wanted him to come down, like his walls to come down. And I don't think she went in there. I know online people were like, oh, she went in there knowing she was about to get D down or whatever.
Nah.
But I feel like she went in there genuinely like, let's do some camaraderie. Let's, drink or whatever. And I think he has a defense mechanism to go to sex or to try to distract.
That's fair.
And I think that's what he did.
That's well said. I 100% agree with you. It's just because the way, like, she came in tequila to loosen him up, to get him to talk about his problems. It's not like she wasn't down for it, you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
But Robin approached her at that look in his eye, them bedroom eyes, and she was like, oh, okay, let's rock.
I felt that it was Korey that was the one who instigated this situation.
I thought at first.
I feel like Dick Grayson was being careful like he usually is, and he doesn't move forward. She comes in 90 and he goes in 10.
He took her glass. Yeah,
no, what do you think he was about to do?
Why don't you take the glass away, bro?
Like
he took the glass away because he knew she was. Look, she was trying to get him drunk, and he was like,
"It's like 60.
If we're about to do this, we're about to do this."
But you get what I'm saying? Like, she went in there talking, she was smiling, and then he gets, like you said, the bedroom eyes.
Bedroom eyes.
Like, we're not like, no, we don't need to talk, And I really do think she went in there not necessarily thinking that. I mean, there's definitely been attraction between them.
Yeah, Korey, she could be sexy. She's a very she's sexy,
But I don't think
the
that
passive
was her
aggressive
intention.
attraction does exist, but we do see in the past that Korey does have a callous nature towards sex, as we remember by the hotel front desk conversation with her, where it seemed like something had happened. So like, oh, you want more?
Like the usual or whatever.
Exactly, the usual, like as if it's something. So maybe she went into it. Maybe we can meet halfway. We can say that she went into it without that being a wall for her that needed to go down, and Dick tried to distract with his Grayson.
Like I said, we gotta dole out a percentage, man. Who give me like a
not
60
even a percentage. I want to know from everyone at home in the comments below who started
That's
That's
on Robin, man. I just think she went with the flow.
I'm going with Korey. Korey went in there knowing what she was gonna do. Like,
she was like I said, I think you're right. I think we're both right.
And I'll tell you that conversation at the liquor store.
Oh yeah.
You drink beer to party, whiskey to think, and she goes,
I'm a
tequila.
But that's just to loosen him up.
It was the loosen up. She wanted him to
We've
relax.
all watched enough Girls Gone Wild infomercials to know that tequila loosens you up for sure.
Do not put that evil on Korey.
That's real. And on that note of evil, we did see Dr. Adamson, who comes off, even though he's very reserved, very evil. Yeah. We see his interaction with the other doctor when they were in the midst of creating the new father. We see him in the beginning of the episode. It seemed like he poured an egg and it looked like an embryo in the bowl. Evil is what he does, and yet he was still also on the lower end of that totem pole. He was not at the top. Yeah. How did we feel about the Dr. Adamson and the tower invasion?
I thought it was good. I mean, it was kind of like, I don't think he was brainwashed necessarily or anything, but it was also, he already knew. It was like, well, you already know they're going to come kill me. And he was just, and it's kind of cold-blooded. So, there's definitely a mission going on there, and they all seem to be believers of it for him to be totally okay with what was about to happen to him, to kind of just be accepting of it.
Yeah, you're right. It's like one of those things where he understands the pecking order. He's like, he knew he's expendable when his cover's blown. He's only as valuable as his anonymity. So once that he was just sitting there chilling, me make a meal, me have some champagne, because it's a wrap. Whether Robin was coming or not, he knew what was going to happen to him. So it was kind of like it was Robin being his savior, Robin's being their savior. So
I think when Robin discovered where they were, I don't know if it was going to happen before then. I felt like he did think it was going to proceed, but Did either one of you think that Robin was going to possibly eat the butterscotch candy as she hands it to him? It was a little note. She hands him like candy, and she hadn't paid attention when he walked in, and then all of a sudden the sweet old lady hands him candy, and we all know don't take candy from strangers.
It's basically what you're saying. Somebody 401 Feeler says, "Do you think the old lady is a higher up, or do you think she's just kind of like a fail safe at the bottom?" That's a question from the chat. Speaking on the old lady, what do you think?
That's a great question that I would love for the chat to answer themselves.
I'm curious.
Let's go once again to the comments below and let's
What do you
discuss.
guys think? Yeah.
What do we feel like her role is? Is old lady just old lady who is assistant, or old lady who is boss? And this is the cover.
That'd be interesting.
That
That
would
would
be
be funny.
very intense. That would make it intense. Another part of the tower, of course, was the invading force that came in, and Robin, of course, goes into action with that fight. I love that fight scene. Evan, how did you?
I thought it was cool
receive
too
it?
because they do a good job of you thinking no matter how many people, based on just the history of those two, that he might be able to, like Batman and Robin, I'm saying, like he might be able to get through this. And then when like a gang of them came down the stairs, I was like, okay, he might not be able to get out of this one. It's like when I see like 10 dudes versus Robin, I'm like, y'all got to bring more people. I was
And then
actually like
they brought more
people. I literally was saying that, and then I was like, oh, they brought more. They know what they're
need
dealing
more.
with.
They're ready.
So like I thought it was kind of cool just to see that moment, a literally unexpected moment as far as like especially Jason Todd coming. That kind of blew me away actually.
That was a big one.
Yeah, I wasn't
Johnson.
expect. At first I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna beat all these guys
Right.
up somehow. But then it's like, how would he get downstairs? I don't know if he brought his suit and things like that. And then of course, like when all else fails, here's Jason Todd. So it was a great entrance of this, tragic comic character and whatnot. But it was also kind of like, yeah, where was it going? I thought it was a good distraction, and then he comes in, so it was great.
Well,
Great
let's talk about
cliffhanger.
Jason Todd, right? Are we impressed that he's part of the show?
Yeah.
I was floored, bro. I was like, oh yeah, go.
I had heard there was going to be a second Robin coming in.
You just love taking the joy out of
She's in a
everything. Nancy.
I was blown away.
I had no idea.
Okay.
I was shocked. I was surprised. I loved it. The moment was. I thought you were Robin. I did too.
Right, yeah. Like it's like,
Which is the beginnings of the seeds for Nightwing, right?
Exactly.
And that's what we're all been waiting for. That's the Titans feel, is Nightwing is the founder of the Titans in that way. So when you said Jason Todd, because we all know Jason Todd's eventual outcome, right? The concept of it. Yeah. It doesn't the
People
movie,
a comic book, yeah.
the movie does not end well for him. But do we like Jason Todd on the show right
eventually. Yeah.
now? Do we like him on the show right now?
I only got a little glimpse of him. I thought it was cool what he said. He's like, "Oh, really? Dick Grayson in the flesh." And I thought that was kind of like he has a little swag to him. So
he does.
I'm interested to see their dynamic because once again, and I think maybe this might be the way that they subvert this whole thing of him being brooding. I'm talking about Dick Grayson being brooding. If he's face to face with a version, not of himself, but a version of someone else who did his job, and it's kind of like, I like this. What's your problem? And if that's the way it is, then he has to kind of, I don't know, justify it a bit more because it's like, yeah, not everyone. Maybe because it seems like a little bit like Dick Grayson kind of blames Batman a little bit with where he is.
Yeah, for his
mentally and stuff.
mentality. Yeah,
and it's like if Jason Todd can come in and say, yeah, no, bro, that's all you. I want to see that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, and I see the episode's called Jason Todd, the next one, so I know that he's going to be an integral part of it.
They have a whole storyline revolving around him.
Yeah, and it's going to be cool to see that Robin trying to give him pointers, be like, just be careful, because I was like you once. I was happy. I love being done in this. I love going out in Gotham with Batman until I hit this moment. So I think he's going to be trying to.
And just give him some tidbits of information and pieces of advice. Let's hit some tidbits really quick because we do have to go soon. Let's hit the concept of I don't know who I am. You're afraid to let people know who you are. There's a difference. That dynamic between Korey and Dick Grayson, which happened, that was a big moment. Let's also remember turning kids into weapons. Once you learn to see the world that way, you can't unsee it. That was a bit of Robin's guard going down and explaining, and you saw some darkness within. And of course, the one that actually probably shocked everyone at home the most, are we going to see Batman? No, you're not.
I love that. That was for us too.
That was for us.
Yes.
That was only for us.
So just let it go, y'all.
But we do get to see the new Robin.
Right.
We did get to see the new Robin. Do we have any tidbits on Gar and Rachel getting together?
They had a nice moment.
They did.
I think they're gonna definitely push a friendship for them.
So we're gonna go off the romantic side for
I don't
friendship.
think it's gonna be a
at least for
romance.
now.
For now, for sure.
I think with narrative, what you're gonna have is, Korey and Dick are probably gonna be a consistent couple once it moves away from lust and more into like him dropping, and then you leave these other two characters to kind of meet people along the way who maybe they have crushes on.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's see that electricity running through his whole body. And the Porsche straight in for the minivan. Smart?
Brilliant.
It was very family. He's very soccer mom now.
The chat is split, by the way, on who started this whole
Of
sexual
course they are, but
They
we
are
will-
split down
There's
the middle.
one half that's right, which is the one
I just wanted to
that
comment.
knows.
It's like 50-50 right now, the chat.
I'm going with Korey. Korey went to his room. Korey had the bottle. Korey really pulled like a dude move, like,
And he was half butt naked too, though. He was in the towel.
Korey was
He could
like,
have put on clothes before he answered the door too. He stayed in the
All
towel.
right.
However, Korey was
right.
like, "Hey, why don't we get some drinks? I want to know more about you."
She didn't say nothing like that. Was that your impression?
That was a great impression. Let's get into some news and gossip. Chauncey, I know you have all the juice.
All the juicy tidbits.
Yeah, well, one of the bits I have is that there's been details on Nightwing and Wonder Girl's costumes in Titans revealed, as we've been talking about, that
Yes.
Nightwing is set to make an appearance soon enough. One of the outlets, Super Bros, talked about how we would see Nightwing at the end of the season, and that new info has come out about the way that the costumes will look. One of them with Nightwing being a bit more like what we know from the comics, and then with Wonder Girl, people who know of Wonder Girl may think that she might come in with the Amazonian look of the warrior, but she's actually going to have a red pantsuit, which is more of the classic comic book look that she has, which I actually really dig. For people who can't see it, it's just like, it's just a cool red suit with and she's going to have like the lasso earrings and bracelets and whatnot. That's a harken back to Wonder Woman. So that'll be really cool. And I'm really excited to see Wonder Girl show up in some capacity soon, because they've been teasing her.
They have.
Also, a Titans actor promises Jason Todd, as we've been talking about, brings a sense of life to the DC Universe show. There was an exclusive interview with Entertainment Weekly recently of the actor that plays Jason Todd, Karan Walters, and what he said was you kind of get a backstory of what they mean to each other and what they've been through. Walters was also saying that there is pressure because this is the first time we're seeing a Jason Todd live action, right?
Yes, very much
he's
so.
the first actor to play it, but he's saying he's very excited. He thinks the fans will be excited as well, and he loves what he's been able to bring to it so far. So I'm very excited to see Jason Todd.
Me too.
And then lastly, there's a bit of good news for our very own Robin Britton, where his movie, A Violent Separation, that he stars in, has been acquired by Screen Media, and that we will probably see this movie sometime at the end of 2019. And the plot is basically the film is set in a small Midwestern town and centers on two brothers, one of them being Britton, and who struggles with the terrible truth behind a tragedy that aims to tear three generations of families apart. So
And he's a cop again.
Yes, he's playing a cop again, but this time not as cool as Robin.
Well, not as cool as Robin is okay. Thank you so much for that news and gossip. For more, please check in each and every week. We do bring you the latest and greatest updates on news and gossip. Let's get right into our special segment. What is the scene that embodies you the most?
That's a good question. Just
Evan.
No, just the fear of being around like it was a cold in the warehouse, man, and God was naked, man, and he didn't know he was naked, and he was very embarrassed. You see what I'm saying? Like that was always one of my fears, man, just being caught in a situation where
you're naked
and it's cold, man.
and it's cold. You're a grower, not a shower.
You know what I'm saying? And it's one of them things, man. I've just been one of my things.
Never can get that image out of my head now. Chauncey?
I think with me it was probably Korey in this episode where she walks in and because one of the things that Robin says to her is don't kill Korey, no killing.
Yeah, right.
And then the family, she walks in and their heads explode and she's like, damn it, they're gonna,
he's gonna think I did it. So
and it's
callous.
kind of that thing where it's like, sometimes people attribute things to you already
Right.
or whatever, and it's like, no, that wasn't me, but assumptions.
A little bit.
So
Mine is gonna have to be when Robin shows up and Beast Boy's reaction. That was like that. Your reputation precedes you. That's just such a great scene, and I would always love to build to a point where your reputation just, once they know who you are, and sometimes that happens, especially at comedy clubs and stuff. You know, I'm in a bathrobe, and then once they find out who I am in that manner, they're like, oh. And all of a sudden, so I really appreciate that.
I want to know who's going to confess which one of you were Korey in the situation and which one of you were Dick.
Because a lot of y'all been here just putting all that on Korey.
Because it's Korey. Because it's Korey. Let's get into some predictions really quick. One line each. What's going to happen?
TV predictions.
Let's start with Chauncey.
I think we will see Wonder Girl, and I think she will have had some type of sexual relationship with Korey, because I think she's polyamorous.
Ooh, lordy.
That's a great.
Wow,
That's a great
awesome.
prediction.
That's fire.
That's the best prediction of all time.
Hopefully, I see at least a little bit of anger moment between Jason and Todd, like the two Robins, like the generational gap. Just a little bit of butting heads, and like Jason Todd kind of like, bro, you lost your way. Like this is the right way. And just a little altercation maybe. I think they'll be fine.
I think or hope we find a lot more about Rachel's father. I think that's a play, not in this next episode, but maybe the episode right after that, where Rachel's father makes some type of appearance where now we have a villain. Yes. We have an enemy. And I predict that everyone at home will be back next week to check us out. You guys missed us in the comments. We missed you in real life. Thank you so much for being with us each and every week. Where can people find you if you want to be found, Chauncey?
You can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR, and also on Rotten Tomatoes, where I'm an official film and TV critic.
I ain't know that.
You said it again. You knew it last week.
We know it every week.
Yo, Evan Mack, Instagram and Twitter. I keep forgetting. That's what's up. Go ahead. That's amazing. You listen. People listen to you. People listen.
People do listen, but I can't because you don't love the things I love, but I love each and every one of you. Find me, and I would love that as well, at I Am Tehran all across the board. That's IAMTEHRAN. I am on several shows here at AfterBuzz, and I do a lot of the comic talk, so please stay tuned, stay with us, and we will see you right back here next week. AfterBuzz After Show DC Titans. Thank you so much for being with us.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.